There is really one athlete, Claire, that I think does not get enough attention for the level that she brings consistently, and it's Jameesia Ford, the track star for South Carolina. She wins and wins and wins. She posts result upon results upon results, and I think she needs a lot more attention, and we're going to give it to her today. Welcome into another edition of South Carolina Sideline, everybody. I'm Matt Dowell alongside Claire Foley today. Happy Tuesday if you're listening to it the day of that we release, or just happy week to happy week to whenever you guys are listening to this. But hope your week is going really, really well. I'm Matt Dowell alongside Claire Foley. And as always, make sure to like, subscribe, follow, comment on all of our platforms. You can watch us on YouTube, listen to us wherever you get your podcast. But Claire, how you doing today?
Good. Happy to be in the summertime. Things are slowing down around here.
It's nice.
It's nice, but then it's gonna get into like, okay, let's get something going on. But then as soon as we say that, it's gonna be full football season. So got to take it while you can.
Yeah, football will start in like 6 weeks or something.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
And even media days are about a month away now. So
it's insane how fast it moves. But a couple of things we want to get into today. We're going to talk about the WNBA and discuss who we think is the most underrated, underappreciated maybe athlete at South Carolina. So some fun stuff to talk about today. But we're going to start with the Gamecocks in the WNBA. And Claire, there are 10 now. 10 Gamecocks. There have been 9. But Laeticia Amihere signing back with the Golden State Valkyries. That was exciting news over the weekend. I don't know if I saw that coming, but happy for LA because she balled out in the preseason. And I had a tweet that went semi-viral, I think, where I did not understand them waiving her initially because she played so well in the preseason. She had a 20-point game in their first preseason game. So I was like, oh, LA's making this team. Like, no question. It's a new franchise. She can ball out because I don't think she was treated that well at the Atlanta Dream. And then they waived her, and I was stunned. So to see her back now with the Valkyries, I said, all right, you shouldn't have cut her in the first place. But at least she's back where I think she deserved a spot from the get-go.
Yeah, I think the timing does feel a little weird. I mean, 8 games into the season, something like that. So to be bringing her back, but like you said, she had a great preseason show out. And I think, she's 6'3", adding her height to the team. I think she'll then be the 3rd tallest. And you just need someone, looking at where they're at so far in the season, minutes-wise, you need someone who's going to be able to put consistent minutes, even if it's not necessarily in a starter role, but someone who you can go to and is going to be a strong presence for you.
Yeah, and my criticism aside of the decision to initially waive her, I do have to give a shout-out to the Valkyries because they look way better than what I thought that they were going to do. You know, a new franchise, new players, all that kind of stuff. I was like, well, it would be understandable if their season was not great. But they're playing really well. I mean, they look like they're in the mix this season. So hopefully LA can help them and keep them in that conversation and elevate them even more. And I do have to say, too, I think LA has taught everyone a good lesson of not burning any bridges because while I'm fired up and pissed off for her,
you'll go to battle for her.
I will go to battle for Laeticia Amihere. LA handled it really well because before the news broke that she was waived, she put out, thank you for the opportunity to the Valkyries. Really, really enjoyed my time. And she wasn't bitter, she didn't say anything badly about the experience. And now she's back, so I think that's a lesson for all of us to not burn any bridges and just keep it professional, keep it classy. And I think we can all learn a little something from LA in this situation.
Yeah, keep your patience, keep working, put your head down, get back to work, get back in the gym, and hey, your time will come.
Your time will come. And I really, really hope Amihere balls out now that she's back on the Valkyries, and excited to see what she does with them in the regular season now. And speaking of the regular season, the Valkyries, before LA got back with them, I don't know what happened over the weekend because, Claire, What is going on with the Las Vegas Aces?
Hey, I knew we were going to get here. We were joking before, and we'll get to it. I knew we were going to get to this.
I don't, like, I was at Carolina Ale House on Saturday. Was that the game? I was at Carolina Ale House enjoying my Buffalo Zinger wrap. Shout out to Carolina Ale House because I love that wrap so much.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor, but hey, if you would like to, welcome to South Carolina Sideline. But I was enjoying my wrap, enjoying my fries, and I look at the TV, and I see Asia, I see the Aces, and I said, okay, wait.
Wait.
I looked at the score, and I said, what is going on? The Valkyries whooped the Aces.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a game.
I think 95-68.
Yeah, like a 27-point victory, and it was not close. And Asia, had 17 in that game, but the Valkyries, I'm sorry, no disrespect to the Valkyries, but a new franchise against an established franchise like the Aces, you can't let that happen if you're Vegas.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's not like the Aces cleared house, like they have all these rookies, things like that. They have experience on that roster. And it's like you said, it's like, what's going on here? And even after the game, Becky Hammond was like, yeah, we have, she called it a heart issue. Like the effort just isn't there, she said. And so she was blunt about it. She's like, that's not something I'm going to coach. I'm not going to take you out of the game for making mistakes and stuff, but I will take you out of the game for a lack of effort.
Yeah. It's shocking. I'm very, very shocked at how the entire season has started with the Aces. And I think this game was a wake-up call for everybody involved. And when you have someone like A'ja Wilson on your team, a generational talent, you can't waste seasons when you have someone like this who is the MVP of the league, the face of the league. You can't just sit here getting beat by 27. The Aces, they got to figure something out. I don't know what the answer is, but they're not getting it done. And right now, it's not good enough. And I don't really consider them to be like championship contenders with the way they're looking right now.
Right. And I think what's most alarming is if you do look at the numbers, the lack of support that there is for A'ja Wilson. Like, she's leading in every category offensively.
She is the post. They have no other post players.
Right. And you can't be a championship contender on one person.
No.
You just can't.
No. And I don't, no matter how good you are, in the pros, it's just everybody's good. You have to have, look at the Liberty. They have a complete team. I mean, obviously, Brianna Stewart's the star. Sabrina is one of the faces, but the entire roster is great. And the Aces used to have that. That's what made them so good, and it made them two-time champs, back to back. So the Aces have a lot of things to figure out, but I just couldn't believe that result this weekend. And I think, the one or two losses to start the season is one thing, but now we're getting to a month into the season. That's not going to be good enough. And I'm very, very interested to see what happens next, because I can't imagine the flight home was fun after that.
And you also don't want to get into trends in that way, because either way, whether it's positive or negative, it's contagious. And if you start getting in a slump and getting into a groove of negative play and things like that can stick, and you don't want that to stick around because you don't have much time for it to stick around. Like you said, it does feel like the season just started, but you're already a sixth, seventh of the way through the season. So
because the NBA is 81 games. WNBA is
44, I think,
so it's about half of what the NBA does. So it moves a lot faster. And for these teams, they got to figure it out a lot quicker than the NBA guys. They have a little bit more luxury and more time to figure things out. Not the case for the WNBA. And when you look at how good the Lynx and the Liberty and these top teams are, the Aces are falling behind. And I just think, with how much money has been invested in that franchise, and when you have someone like A'ja Wilson who's in her prime right now, you got to figure something else. You got to figure something out, because you can't waste all this time when you have a player like that.
And I think that's something that kind of surprised me earlier when I was looking into, like, ESPN put out something over the weekend about, like, award predictions for this year. I'm like, really? We're already doing that? But, like, when you look at it as a whole, like, okay, like, technically, it only is 8 to 10 games into the season, but like when your season as a whole is so much shorter, like that's a decent amount of time. And hey, your girl Alicia Gray,
Oh.
She's making some noise
Yes,
for,
she is. Let's
for
go.
most improved.
Let's go.
She's getting
Alicia
some
Gray.
votes in that category.
I didn't know if we were going to bring her up this week.
We have to. We can't get through a podcast without mentioning her.
She's playing so well, and I think she needs to be in the MVP conversation. I've made my case, everybody. And Gray's doing the right thing because she's consistent. She's continuing to play well. She said, Matt, I got you. I'm going to continue to put up these numbers. I'm going to continue to play well.
And I think,
so don't sleep on Gray. I'm going to continue to say it.
I think what's so interesting about her, too, in terms of like a sport, you don't expect necessarily someone to have their best season at year 9 or 10.
Yeah.
So it's awesome to see, kind of like what we were saying about LA, like keep that commitment, keep that drive, put your head down, put the work in.
Yeah, you just said that. I can't believe they've been gone from South Carolina almost a decade. What, 8 years? Or no. Yeah, 8 years for Gray, about 7 for Asia. It's crazy how time flies. But yeah, 10 former Gamecocks in the WNBA, and we will continue to talk about the league all summer long. We're going to take a timeout here on South Carolina Sideline. When we come back, we're going to discuss who we think is the most underrated and underappreciated, is that a good word for it, Claire?
For sure.
Athlete at South Carolina, and it's maybe in a sport that you wouldn't expect. South Carolina Sideline coming back right after this. South Carolina has so many great athletes, and they obviously, when you're an SEC school, there's so much going on all of the time, but there is really one athlete, Claire, that I think does not get enough attention for the level that she brings consistently, and it's Jameesia Ford, the track star for South Carolina. She wins and wins and wins. She posts result upon results upon results. And I think she needs a lot more attention, and we're going to give it to her today.
Yeah, absolutely. She is in her sophomore year, and she's won everything. I mean,
everything.
Like she's going back to nationals this weekend, and you think about how hard it is to qualify for nationals in one event. She's competing in 4 events at nationals this weekend. She's going to be in the 100, the 200, and then she's a part of the 4x1 and 4x4 teams. I mean, it's just crazy. Like the track is not necessarily a sport that a lot of people know the ins and outs of, but that is so difficult to do. And especially when you look at just the 100, that's not her event. That's something that's new to her. And I was talking to her the other day about this. She said it's something that she's had to learn because it's such a short event. You have to be on right out of the gate. So something she's really been working on is her starts. And the other day in practice, got to see her working on those. And it's funny. She was saying of how much she's won and won. She's like, yeah, I guess this year has like gone all right. Not everything has gone the way I would have hoped. And we asked her, we're like, what else do you want?
Yeah.
Like, she is just winning and winning. And she was going to the Olympic trials last year. 2028 definitely, I think, is in her future.
Yeah, for those who are watching or listening, Claire did a story on Jameesia last week for Watch Fox for our 30-minute show at night. She was our player of the week. So you really got to talk to Jameesia more in depth and really got to know her a lot more. And I am going to be stunned if she's not at the LA Olympics. And I'm going to be stunned if she's not a medalist of some kind at some point in her career. But she is really humble. I mean, and she's kind of shy, actually, which I always find very interesting for these athletes who can like go on this big stage and be a boss, you know, and then then you meet them in person and they're kind of, you know, they're kind of opposite of that, but she's humble. She doesn't really gloat, you know, she doesn't do all that, but man, she puts the work in and she just gets results. And I'm always just astounded by what she's able to do out there on the track. But what was that like, shooting that story with her and getting to know her better? Yeah,
so I got to talk to her before, or right as the indoor season was starting, and then again now as she's heading into nationals for outdoor. And when I talked to her earlier in the winter, obviously she had a super successful freshman campaign, so I had asked her, okay, how do you want to build off of that? And she said, honestly, I just want a clean slate. I don't want the pressure of all of that, and I want to start this next year on a completely clean slate. And she's done that, but also replicated her success from her freshman year. That can be a lot of pressure. And so following up with her from the winter, she had said at indoor nationals, it didn't go as well as she wanted. She got a bronze medal in her event.
But for her, bronze isn't good enough.
Right, and that's the thing about her is she is more soft-spoken. She is humble about the work that she puts in, but she is also a winner. And she also does know her talent because of how much she works for it. And that's something her head coach told me, is that she's one of those like generational talents that for him as a coach, it's like you might get one of these kinds of athletes to coach in your career. And it's an honor for him to see the work ethic she has and everything she puts in and day out. He's like, sometimes I got to tell her, like, take it down a notch, like, take a break.
Yeah.
He has to reel her in a little bit, but that's how badly she wants it, that the top prize is the goal. It is championship or bust for her.
100%. And South Carolina they have trained so many great track stars over the decades. You know, it's such a great program. But Jameesia is really the face of this generation. And I think generational talent gets used too much nowadays, because I'm like, well, everyone's not a generational talent. And, you know, but Jameesia is one of them. And I'm just like, I wanted to give her this spotlight and talk about her today, because I think if you're a Gamecock fan and you are not paying attention to what she's doing, like, start paying attention to her and start following what she's doing, because she's amazing. I mean, she is truly amazing. Like, every week we get an email saying Jameesia Ford, like, did this, she won this, she
winning and like running like the second or third fastest time in the world in her event. But I also want to give the flowers to the relay events, because it's a similar group to what they had last year in these. And Jameesia said they have put the work in, and she said it's like night and day compared to last year. And this year they've been breaking records. They've been winning, obviously. So that's definitely a contender for first place heading to nationals in Oregon.
I hope to have her on the podcast one day, because she is that good of an athlete. And I, again, am going to be stunned if she's not an Olympic medalist of some kind, let alone a gold medalist one day, because she is that elite. And like elite, and I don't use that word a lot with athletes. You know, I like to, you know, like, they're good, they're great. Jameesia is elite. And so if you are not watching her on the track, please start following Gamecock track, because she is so fun to watch. And if you like winners, she's the winningest. She is the one bringing it home. But Claire, is there anything else you want to talk about today? It's a pretty quick and easy show for us today.
Well, something I'm excited about, and I know Jared is, we have a Sports Beat softball team.
We do?
We
do.
Wait.
Oh, yes, I was in on that. I don't know if I answered that text.
He ignored our text. He was invited. Don't let him fool you.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm not on the team.
You can come out to cheer us on, but the Sports Beat here in Columbia, we joined an adult softball league, so our first game's tonight. So
well, I'm gonna have to
check it out.
All right. Well, my goal for next week will be to answer the group text.
Yes.
And maybe I'll come out and cheer on the Sports Beat.
Maybe you have us on the podcast.
Maybe that'll be the next show. But yeah, follow the what do you guys have a name?
Yes. And this is a story in of itself. We are the mozzarella mashers.
Oh, okay. So is that a Lulu thing?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Well, we had Lulu Keston on the podcast. She's our first guest, actually, and she talked about the mozzarella story.
Yes.
So
Mozzarella Gate.
Mozzarella Gate. So go back and listen to that if you missed it about Lulu Keston and Kim Mulkey and mozzarella sticks. It's a wild ride, but it's a fun one. But yeah, go out and cheer on our sports.
The mozzarella mashers.
The mozzarella mashers. I'll have to go. Maybe I'll be a cheerleader, or a coach, or something. Who knows? But it's been a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening. We were talking about, before we leave, TV people, we have insecurities, and they're all very weird. I have a headache today, and I felt ugly. and it's very real thing. It sounds dumb. It does. So I was
hype Matt up in the comments.
Me up, please. So I wasn't feeling confident going into today, and that happens, and you have to get through it.
Proud of you.
Look,
you're so brave.
We're ridiculous people as in TV, but you know that's how I felt going into today.
He is brave,
and I am brave because I sat here in front of a camera.
Thank you for sharing your truth.
Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. So hopefully next time I will not have a headache, and I will be more confident. And I'm going to need to be, because our next episode, shameless plug, our next episode is going to be with Alex English. He's going to join us on the podcast, and that episode will be released on Thursday. We're releasing this on a Tuesday, so that will be next up. I'm really excited to have Alex on the show.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Legend. So I've got to get prepped and ready. I'm really, really excited to have him on the show and ready to go. But Claire, it's been fun. What a ridiculous ending to this episode. But you know what? Whatever. I don't care.
You know what? And we'll see you on the next one.
We're going to see you on the next one. I'm going to be here. She's Claire Foley. I'm Matt Dowell. As always, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and follow us wherever you listen or watch South Carolina Sideline. We'll be back with Alex English next on our podcast. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.